Well, there's Skdy. She's on guard. Last night she chased something out of here. When I heard the stomping around on the back porch, I ran out to see what it was, but it was too late. She'd already scared it off. I called for her and she came back up on the porch. So I know everybody likes seeing Skdy. So as you know, I've been trying to get this tree down, and I've been taking it down in sections. So you might be able to see that I've gotten 2 branches out of it already with a rope saw. You'll see the rope saw here in a little bit. So got this one down. This is my first experiment to see if it was going to work. And I doubt if you can see it, but then there's another one, which is the second limb I got. But then right next to it, on the main trunk, I started to try to cut this one down before I cut that one down. And the saw got stuck. I don't know why it got stuck. It wasn't even that deep. I only did like maybe 5-6 strokes back and forth, and it just jammed up. So I got a new plan today, and you can see that I've got my ladder secured. Now I'm going to explain why I got it all secured, but first of all, I got 2 straps around the tree, kind of interlocked in the ladder. Come down here, I dug 2 little holes to put the feet of the ladder in. That way, if I'm on the ladder, which I shouldn't be, but if I'm on the ladder, when that limb decides to go, then what typically happens when you cut limbs is the limb falls down first. The heavy end, or the top side end, starts to fall down. So it hits the ground first. Then the tail comes, where you just cut, comes down. And what happens is it always first bounces and comes back further away, back, past the tree as it lands. And so when it comes down, it hits the ladder, knocks you out of it. Ladder falls down. So that's why I strapped it all down. What my plan is to cut where that limb is right there, right above it, because I can reach that spot. And I'm going to show you all this, so if it doesn't make sense, just hang in there. So the rope saw I'm going to tape to the tree, just above where this little broken branch is. Now I'm going to come down here, or over here I should say, it's actually up, and I'm going to start sawing. Now, what could happen is it binds up the rope saw, which is I think what happened to the top one, but I can't reach that one. It's too far up. I had to throw a rope to get to it, to get that high. So if I can reach it, then I have these wedges. Now you will see these chainsaw experts use these. I've used them. You can see this one's I've hit with the chainsaw. There's some sort of plastic material or something. And so you put this in the gap that your saw already created. And what it does is it lifts that tree off your pinch on your chain. Lifts it off. This will also help you if you're trying to cut the tree down. You make what's called a hinge. And your hinge on your tree, from where your face cut was to where your entry cut is, should be an inch or 2 or whatever size the tree is. And so then you stop sawing. You take these and you drive it into the tree. These are what actually knock the tree over. You get a more precise falling that way. This is only going to keep it from pinching the saw blade. But my fear is while I'm up here driving these wedges in, that the tree could decide to go while I'm driving, because that's what the wedges are supposed to do, and I'm on the ladder. So in the event that I'm on the ladder as this thing falls down, I'm going to tuck myself up behind the ladder as tight as I can, hold on tight, and let it fall. Now I've also got another strap here. I'm going to tie myself to the ladder. Now I know there were several people that was upset that I didn't show the limbs falling last time. Well, this isn't Hollywood. This is a YouTube channel about off-grid. If the limb was up in the tree, and then the next scene you see the limb down on the ground, well, obviously, somehow or another, I got it. So the thing is I got to worry about safety also. Yes, I know YouTube's the most important thing because that's what the viewer wants to see, but I wouldn't have gotten it uploaded, the video, or edited if I was dead. So I thought I'd worry about the safety. Well, this time I think I got the safety measures all right. I got the head strap on my camera here. Okay, so this is the saw. It looks like a chainsaw blade, except it's got a cutting edge on both sides. And then you can see the rope here. And then there's another rope here. So I'm going to get this up into the tree, and then we're going to tape it. So we're going to get this up over this limb. You got to watch out for these kinks. Now, in case something goes wrong, I'm going to go as high as I feel comfortable reaching here. That way, if something goes wrong, I can just lower it down the next time. Okay, so I'm going to tape this a couple wraps just so it will stay in place and it doesn't fall down while I'm on the ground. I have to run back up here and fix it. As soon as I start sawing, that should just break the tape, no problem. I would think. That's my hope. If I got it wrong, then I'll be back up here anyways. And the thing is I'm trying to get better camera angles this time, and somebody will complain, this video's boring, you're not talking enough. Okay, I'm gonna give this a try, we'll see. Yeah, tape broke. So far, so good. See, this is my fear, it would jam up. That's what it did last time. I don't know why it's jamming. Go, go, go! Well, we got it down. Just so you know who I was yelling at, that was Carolyn. She was pulling on the other rope. We found that on the thicker limbs or thicker tree trunk, whatever you want to call it, it's better to spread out the ropes and come in it kind of straight on instead of this curved thing it does when you're doing it by yourself. So it got kind of hung up into the tree, which isn't a big deal. I'll get that. I have a plan that once I get these limbs knocked down, they should just fall down. I showed you that the other day on one of the other limbs. If not, it's no big deal. I can still get up there and just kind of nick it down. It shouldn't be that big a deal. For those who have never seen a walnut, that's the inside of a walnut tree. It's very pretty, admittedly. It's a beautiful tree inside. Everybody tells me that I need to sell these walnuts, but you know, there's nothing you can do with that. I mean, what is that, 4 inches in diameter? What would you use it for? Walnuts need to be a lot bigger. Now you could make a gun stock out of it, and you might get, I don't know, maybe maybe 5 or 6 gun stocks out of it, but makes good firewood too. It really does. And firewood's more valuable to me. And I don't need a trailer to move it around with. So once I get this cleaned up, then we'll cut this last piece down and it'll be over with. Now, in the last few videos, I've showed you that both of my chainsaws are down, not running. And we got to get, I'm waiting on parts. The big chainsaw, even though it broke down second, the carburetor should be here Saturday. And then the little chainsaw, that's like a week away still. I don't know why it takes so long. So what I'm going to do, and what I have been doing, is I've been using the Sawzall to trim up the smaller limbs, just so I can get it cleaned up a little bit so Carolyn can get in here. I'm going to see if I can get this knocked down so it's not unsafe. Now I'm going to run the Sawzall off this little bitty 1500 watt generator. That way I don't have to get the big one out. I think I've ran the Sawzall off this before. That's a little power smart. I'm not a salesman. I'm not getting paid for this. But for 250 bucks, 300 bucks, whatever it is, off Amazon, that's an inverter generator. You can get the bigger, I don't know if it's bigger, but the industrial strength. But I've learned that the voltage is very inconsistent with that one. So if you run electronics with it, it won't do a good job. But this one's an inverter. It's pretty consistent with the volts. So actually it's hertz. I said volts. Hertz. You want 60 hertz. And with the cheaper one, the non-inverter one, it's pretty dirty electricity. So we'll get this started up and running here. Easy to start. As long as the temperature's under 50 degrees, it starts on the first pull. Yep, it runs it. Okay, so I got it pretty much cleaned up so Carolyn can get to the camper until I can get the chainsaws running. So all the limbs I just kind of stuck over here. And then what I'll do with the limbs is I'll take a strap, wrap it around one of the bottom limbs, and drag it over to a pile that I got established over there. And then we got the wood that I need to get cut up for firewood. Find a place to stack that. I'll need to start a new stack so I don't mix the wet wood with the dry wood. I wanted to show you some. First of all, I don't remember what I recorded and what I didn't, but I did get up there and I drove a wedge in it just to kind of give it a little bit more spread. And when I did that, it got easier to saw. Now you saw that I was way over here sawing. Carolyn was way over there by the end of the camper sawing. So she was over there, I was up there by the well. And it just seemed to work better with it spread out. And then I drove that in, and then the rest went pretty easy. I almost considered going back up there and driving it in a little bit deeper. I'm glad I didn't. It worked out just fine. Now, when I was trimming up the limbs, this big limb fell out the rest of the way, as you can see. And as I was describing, there's the tree. So you can see that when it hit, it came backwards. It sprung backwards because there was pressure on those limbs up there. And so it just pushed it. As soon as it fell out of the tree, it pushed it backwards. So it could have hit the ladder. It didn't, but it can. And that's something you gotta be aware of working in ladders. I mean, I got so many comments. Just get a deer stand, get up there and you do this. You're operating a saw in a tree, climbing limbs. I mean, it's horribly dangerous. One time I was up there cutting limbs and I was straddling the limb just fine. And my legs were wrapped around the limb. I'm cutting in front of me. The limb came down, grabbed my leg, and tried to push it into the trunk of the tree. any more and it would have ripped my leg off. Had a huge scab, big cut on it. Yeah, it hurt. So it's just dangerous. You can't predict what those limbs are gonna do. So now all I gotta do is cut the rest of that stump down, the trunk down, I guess, and get it cut up as firewood. So when the chainsaws are running, that's what I'll do. But the most serious part is done now. I don't have to worry about the electric company anymore coming out and bothering me. So if you'll click this up next box, it'll take you to a video of the first part of this series. So hope I can inspire you to make a plan, and a serious one, when you're living your dreams. Thanks for watching.